Good morning, friends and neighbors. It's a Wednesday, October 30, day before Halloween. Oh, my God. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Bill Press Show this Wednesday morning. We are booming out to you live from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., our studio right here on Capitol Hill in the shadow of the Capitol Dome, just down the street from the United States Capitol building, where we've got our eye on what's happening here in Washington. At this end of Pennsylvania Avenue, the Capitol, and the other end of Pennsylvania Avenue, of course, the White House. We'll tell you what's going on in Washington. We'll tell you what's going on around the country and around the globe. And that's our job. Your job is to tell us what you think about it. Remember, you can do so by giving us a call at 866-55-PRESS. You can do so by sending us your comments on Twitter at BP Show. And on Facebook at facebook.com/Bill Press Show. Well, big excitement today is Kathleen Sebelius will be testifying in front of Congress. But, you know, the focus has shifted from what went wrong with the website to how come some Americans who already have health care are losing those plans when President Obama said over and over again that would never happen. Of course, it's because the insurance companies see an opportunity. They are dumping people, making them drop their current plans and replace those plans with better but more expensive plans. But, of course, after Kathleen Zabilis explains that, the enemies of Obamacare will just find something else to complain about. In other news, a big hearing yesterday in the Senate on gun safety. That issue hasn't gone away. President Obama goes to Boston today to talk about health care, and the Red Sox try to wrap it up at Fenway Park tonight. Stay tuned for all of the above here on The Bill Press Show.
This is The Bill Press Show.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Aww, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach
likes
your
you.
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we have pep talkers standing by to get you motivated for your GED diploma. Text the name Terry to 69222 for a sympathetic pep talk.
You show people what you really are.
Or for a gentle pep talk, text the name Deborah.
You know you're going to make people very proud of you.
And if that's not enough, text the name Danny for an extreme pep talk.
Prove everyone wrong. Show them you're the boss.
Get your GED pep talk and find free GED classes. Text the name of the person you want a pep talk from to 69222.
Did you see the world differently? Did you celebrate the victory?
So today, I state clearly and with conviction America's commitment to seek the peace and security of a world without nuclear weapons.
Did you stand up against our greatest threat? Change the world.
What did the president not know, and when did he not know it? That's a new question in Washington these days. Hey, hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday, October 30. Great to see you today. And thank you for joining us. This is the Bill Press Show, by the way, in case you're wondering, what the hell did I tune into this morning? Good to see you today for our morning roundup and our morning town hall. We start off here, go the next 3 hours with all the news of the day, wherever it happens, wherever it's happening on the globe. Here in Washington, that's where we are, right on Capitol Hill, just down the street from the United States Capitol building. We'll tell you what's happening here in our nation's capital, around the country, around the globe. And that's our job. Your job, tell us what you think about it. Get into the conversation. Give us a call at 866-55-PRESS. Give us your comments on Twitter at BP Show, and on Facebook at facebook.com/BillPressShow. Be our friend on Facebook, and if not, why the hell not? Lots going on today. Congress, by the way, they came in Monday night. They were off since last Thursday. They came in Monday night. They go home today for 10 days. I mean, those poor babies. They worked a whole day yesterday. Didn't do a damn thing, by the way, the whole day, but they were here. And now they go home today. I'm telling you, I want to get a job like that for which I get paid $175,000 for doing absolutely nothing. Why do we elect these clowns? I mean, I'm really talking about the clowns who are in charge of the House of Representatives, not the Democrats who are trying to get something done, but they can't because Boehner won't schedule any votes and won't let any major legislation come to the floor. All right, but I digress. Let's say hello to the team this morning. Peter Ogburn.
Hi there.
Leading the team here.
How you doing?
Morning. I'm good.
Happy Wednesday.
Man of many trades over there this morning. Alicia Cruz has the phones. So they're already ready for your calls, and she's there ready to take your calls. And Cyprian Balding will keep us looking good because we're coming to you live on your local Progressive Talk radio station. We're also coming to you live on these little cameras here for Free Speech TV. That's the Dish Network or Direct TV on your satellite. And if you prefer to watch the show on your computer, your laptop, your iPad, or whatever, you can stream the show at TawkrTV. It's a whole new setup. Very excited about it. It's going all over the globe. People in 133 countries watching. Tawker, TAWKR TV. YouTube.com/TawkrTV is how you find it. Well, yesterday, we mentioned this yesterday, was the first anniversary of, unbelievable, the first anniversary of Hurricane Sandy. I don't know, it seems a lot longer ago to me than just 1 year. But poor New Jersey, and long parts of Long Island and other parts of the coast are still suffering, still rebuilding. A lot's been done, but there's still a long way to go. And we could think of nobody better to speak about the problems that New Jersey is having. And I'm not talking about Governor Chris Christie. No, and I'm not talking about Senator Bob Menendez. I'm talking about, or the new Senator Cory Booker. No, we're talking about who best represents New Jersey. Snooki.
We filmed Snooki and JWoww there. The boardwalk was great. It was back to normal. But then when we would drive a couple blocks down, houses were still in shambles.
We gotta remember that.
There's still a lot of work to be done.
All right.
We have to get it fixed. That's where they filmed Snooki and JWoww.
That's right. So, I mean, it's got to be.
Yeah.
So she's on Dancing with the Stars this year?
I guess. I've given up on her. I've given up on that show. But yeah, she is on that show.
Good Lord.
Right?
Yeah.
I miss the good old days when they had respectable people on there, like Tom DeLay. Yeah, exactly.
And Tucker.
Tucker.
Remember, Tucker, the first season. I remember when he told me he was going to go on Dancing with the Stars. He'd already decided, but he was asking me whether I thought he should do it. I'd never even heard of the show.
It was brand new when he did it.
But it was the first season.
Yeah.
So, of course, I hadn't heard of it. But at any rate. All right, what a lineup today. We've got a great lineup for you. Congresswoman Jan Schakowski will be joining us, as well as Cindy Boren, our favorite sports writer. She's with the Washington Post. And Victoria Jones from Talk Radio News will be here in studio with us a little bit later as a friend of Bill. And yes, now there's a whole new controversy about Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act. We'll tell you what the truth really is. But first,
this is the Full Court Press.
Yes, indeed. Here are a couple of other stories making news. The NBA basketball season is underway. I love basketball season. This is my sport.
I know, but give me a break. Let's get the World Series over with first.
I don't disagree with you there. But the NBA basketball season started last night, so a couple of big matchups. We'll start with the defending champion Miami Heat taking on the Chicago Bulls, and Derrick Rose returned to the Bulls lineup, who sat out all last season with an injury. The Heat, however, had little problem winning that game. They won 107-95. Elsewhere, the Lakers beat their in-town rivals, the Clippers, 116-103.
I saw that. A little bit of that Lakers, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so off and running.
Off and running. Smoke them if you got them. Just make sure you're 21 years old. That's the message from New York City as they prepare to take on the issue of teen smoking. The city council is expected to vote today to approve an increase in the age requirement to buy cigarettes from 18 years old to 21 years old. They would be the first major city to do so, and they say that it's a lot harder to tell the difference. It's kind of tough to tell the difference between like a 16-year-old and an 18-year-old, but a 21-year-old they're trained to acknowledge because of the alcohol sales and things like that. So it'll be a little bit easier to spot.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I hear the argument, meaning if it's 21 for booze, 21 for cigarettes, but I think some 18-year-olds or some 21-year-olds look like 18. I mean, I'm sure you can like that.
Right off,
tell the difference. It's not like they have facial hair at 21 and none at 18.
Right.
By the way, won't they just go to New Jersey and buy cigarettes?
That's a good point. They could always just drive to New Jersey and buy cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my eyes, the goggles do nothing. The town of Irwindale, California, got a little more than they bargained for when they welcomed a new $40 million, 650,000 square foot factory that makes sriracha hot sauce. You've probably seen this. It's the bottle with the rooster on it.
Yeah.
It's like an Asian hot sauce that's very garlicky, very peppery, but they have a plant that makes it in Irwindale, California, and the residents are suing Sriracha because they say that the processing of this stuff blows the hot pepper and the garlic smell all around the town, and it burns their throat, it burns their eyes, and they don't like it.
Whoa.
Just by processing the stuff. The air that you breathe around it is spicy.
You know, in Vacaville, California, they used to process a lot of onions. You know, and when you drove through there on Highway 80 on the way between Sacramento and San Francisco, it's close to Sacramento, you get this onion smell. It was just sort of known. Through the couple of miles there, you just drove through
onion country.
It
is true. I mean, having visited...
But what are they going to do? Shut down the factory?
I don't know. I mean, they're going to have to figure out some better fumigation system. I mean, hell,
I got news
don't know.
for them. They could live alongside of a stinky refinery.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Good point.
They could live in Marcus Hook, Pennsylvania. All right, here we go. Yes, indeed, the latest on the healthcare, the big, as you may have noticed, the big debate, the big controversy now has shifted. The enemies of Obamacare have latched on to something else. Suddenly, our attention span, we have the attention span of a gnat. Nobody's, even though Kathleen Sebelius is coming up to Capitol Hill today, to testify on the problems with the website. That's what she was scheduled to testify. You watch. Most of the questions are not going to be about problems with the website anymore because that's getting fixed. So now they've shifted to another whole issue, which is that the argument that some people under the Affordable Care Act who already have health insurance are going to lose their plans, even though President Obama promised over and over again just the opposite. First of all, here is a little montage of President Obama during the selling of the Affordable Care Act.
So let me be clear. If you like your doctor or health care provider, you can keep them.
Keep it.
If you like your health care plan, you can keep that too.
Keep
First, no matter what you've heard,
If you like your doctor or health care plan, you can keep it. If you don't have insurance, you'll finally be able to afford it. We will keep this promise to the American people. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period. If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan, period.
Period. No doubt about it. The President didn't equivocate there at all. And now we find out that's not exactly true. Eric Cantor says this is shocking.
President knew that these letters were coming.
Shocking.
And this is really, really troubling, I believe, for all the American people.
Troubling? Oh, my God. What did the president know?
If the president knew that these letters were coming and still indicated that you could keep your health care plan if you liked it. Now, that raises some serious questions about the sales job of Obamacare.
Oh, yes, indeed. Shocking. Yes. And, all right. So I thought it was important to start off this morning. Here's what's really going on, okay? I try to make this as simple as we can, but I think it's important that we all understand exactly what's going on. Let's see the context. Number one, important that you know this because you're going to hear it from all the enemies of Obama and the enemies of Obamacare. Okay. Number one, remember, 80% of Americans who have health insurance today get it through their job. Okay. That's totally separate. Okay. So they don't count at all here. So we're not 80% of Americans safe and sound. Of the remaining 20, 15% of those Americans, the 15% of those left, 15% of all Americans, I should say, never had health insurance before. This doesn't apply to them either, right? Because they could never afford it, or they had a pre-existing condition. So we set them aside. So we're left with, we're talking about 5% now of the population, 5% representing people who do, before Affordable Care Act, already had some kind of health care that they were paying for out of their own pocket. It is true of those 5%. It is true that if they have a health care plan, even though it's substandard and they're happy with it, they can keep it. The president was right about that. They can keep it. But for some of those 5%, the insurance companies are dropping them. They're dropping the plans. They're forcing these people to buy another plan, a plan that will be better, but a plan that will probably cost more because it offers more coverage. Now, at that point, so will some Americans lose their plans? Yes, because their insurance companies drop them. They'll have to buy another plan if they want to continue to have insurance. Yes. Will they have to pay more? That depends. Some will, some won't. Why? Because the federal subsidies kick in. That never existed before Affordable Care Act. So the bottom line is 80% of Americans, safe. 15% of Americans, first-time buyers of health insurance, all new for them. And that's like 36 million people. Of the remaining 5%, some of them are going to lose their health insurance plan. Some of them may have to pay more. That's exactly what's going on. Again, does it mean the Affordable Care Act is no good? No way. Does it mean the Affordable Care Act is not going to thrive and survive? No way. It's going to continue. Does it mean we have to delay it? We have to kill it? We have to? No. It just means this is a sort of a necessary wrinkle, I guess, to get everybody up to a level of health insurance that really does provide them basic, adequate coverage for themselves and for their families. Now, what about President Obama? Did he tell the exact truth? I'd have to say no. Should he have conditioned it? Yeah. He should have said, and Congressman John Yarmouth said this yesterday on our show, President probably should have said 99%. He would have been absolutely right on. Or he should have said, by far, most Americans. And he would have been absolutely right on. He didn't. But I just have to say, before the Republicans make a big deal of that, I remember another president saying, Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, and we had to invade that country. And we did. What did that cost in lives and in dollars? I remember another president saying Iraq had nuclear weapons and a vice president. The capacity, they either already had nuclear weapons or they could have one like within a year. I remember another president saying Iraq was a direct threat to the United States and we had no choice but to send our military in unilaterally in an illegal war and invade Iraq. So don't talk to me about a president telling the 100% truth. President Obama was selling a good plan. And now we see that there's one little wrinkle in the plan. You know what? My reaction to the whole thing is, so what? It's no big deal. And you know that the enemies of Obamacare, once this is all straightened out and once this is all explained, they'll just find some other reason to try to kill it. 866-55-PRESS. Let's talk about it. The latest here on The Bill Press Show.
Connect with The Bill Press Show on Twitter. Follow us at BP Show and tweet using the hashtag WatchingBP. This is The Bill Press Show.
So this is my computer.
This is your computer. Let's go on the internet.
Let's go. Click it.
Yes.
Okay.
I cursor in between the R and the E. Pressing dot, I want you to just push the period.
She's gonna love me all over again.
That's it. Jamaica, here you go.
Here we go.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. And I did it by myself. Feel smarter.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay. So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. You know, I followed your character since the first episode. I'm
I'm a big fan. Big fan. Thank you. And listen, your storyline, it makes for incredible TV drama. Thing is, your drug use is very adult content. Too adult for the kids. So I'm gonna have to block you.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, have a good one.
You're a nice lady.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, here we go at 26 minutes after the hour now. Cindy Boren is going to talk sports with us at the top of the next hour. Right now we're talking about the latest brouhaha over health care. People claiming President Obama lied to the nation when he said that nobody would lose their existing health insurance. Well, the truth is some of those plans were no damn good. People who already had it, part of that 5% that already had them. And they could keep them, except the insurance companies who under Obamacare have to provide a certain level of coverage are forcing people to drop those plans and buy another one. Kevin in Chicago, what do you think of this, Kevin?
Yeah, hey, Bill. Hey, what everybody needs to understand, and those of us that do have insurance understand that, you don't get to decide what insurance you're going to get. They set the parameters of the plan. Now, the companies had to make their plans affordable health care or Obamacare compliant. They could have modified those plans and kept the same plan, but you know what? They chose to do something that they're very good at, screw people and make a profit.
I know.
And that's where Obama made a mistake. When you lie down with the devil, you get to deal with the devil. And let's face it, those insurance companies had no problem for decades screwing the hell out of Americans and taking 20, 30, 40% of their premiums and buying themselves jets and mansions and paying themselves big dividends. So this is kind of just an end result of what you did.
That is an excellent point, Kevin. That's the rub when you say, as you lie down with this dog, you get fleas, right? Is having the insurance companies still in charge and not going to single payer, but keeping this private insurance. The insurance companies have found a way through Obamacare to screw people, screw them and screw them and screw them again. That's what it's really all about.
This is the Bill Press Show.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
Columbine, Virginia Tech,
Tucson,
Aurora,
Fort Hood, Oak Creek,
Newtown.
Newtown,
Newtown.
Newtown.
How many more?
How many more? How many more colleges? How many more classrooms?
How many more movie theaters?
How many more houses of faith?
How many more shopping malls?
How many more street corners?
How many more?
How many more?
Enough.
Enough.
Enough. Enough.
Demand a plan.
Right now. As a mom.
As a dad. As a friend. As a husband.
As a wife.
As an American.
As an American.
As an American.
As a human being.
For the children of Sandy Hook.
Demand a plan. No more lists of names. It's not too soon.
It's too late.
Now is the time.
Before we all know someone who loved someone on that list.
No more lists.
No more.
Who they might have been. No more.
If we had just done something yesterday. It's time.
We can do better than this.
We can do better than this.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time for our leaders to act.
Demand a plan. Right now.
Right now.
You! Demand it!
Enough.
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 None of us would want to be told we can't marry the person we love. As Americans, we believe in freedom. That's what I fought for as a Marine, and that's what we believe in as Republicans. Freedom means freedom for everyone. I didn't used to understand the importance of same-sex marriage, but after learning my brother was gay, I wanted the same rights for him. He was the best man at my wedding, and I want to be the best man at his. It's only fair that Calvin should have the freedom to marry the person he loves, too.
It's time for marriage.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Big shift now, not talking so much about the problems with the website. That was last week's news. Now this week's news is the president misled us. He said nobody would lose their insurance company. Yeah, well, guess what? When you have a system that is based on people buying private insurance, the private insurance companies can drop some of those people who already had health insurance and force them into a different plan. And you'd have to admit a better plan, and in some cases, a more expensive plan. To which I think the answer is, yeah, guess what? Big news. The insurance companies under Obamacare have found a way to continue to screw some people. But, again, got to remember, 80% of Americans already have health insurance through their job, aren't affected at all. 15% of Americans who could never buy health insurance before can now with federal subsidies under Obamacare, which is hugely beneficial. Great news. And then the remaining 5%, some of them are getting screwed by the insurance companies. This is news. Dave in Bolingbrook, Illinois. Hi, Dave.
Hey, good morning.
Hi, what's up?
Okay, I'll just make my point and I'll hang up and listen to your response.
All right.
The 5% is questionable with the insurance, losing their insurance. I think the point you're saying is that the insurance company actually canceled that plan and it no longer exists. But you keep saying they dropped the individual. When you say they dropped the individual, it sounds like, well, the plan is still there, but you kicked me out, so Obama lied to me, rather than saying, no, we canceled the plan, therefore it no longer exists because it didn't meet the Affordable Care Act. And everybody that was in that plan were dropped from it. Versus, no, I'm just kicking you out. It's still there, but you can't have it no more.
Dave, you're absolutely you're absolutely right. Yeah, and
it's confusing a lot of people because
I got it. Okay, I take your point.
People.
No, I take your point. I think it works either way. I was just talking about an individual, but you're right. The insurance companies canceled that plan, and anybody who had that particular plan is out of luck. Right? They have to get another plan, and they have to, and it'll be a better plan, but they'll probably have to pay more for it unless they get the federal subsidy. So whether you look at it individually, they were dropped, or you look at it, the insurance company canceled the plan. You're absolutely right. I appreciate the call. Here's Ike down in Charleston, South Carolina. Our buddy Ike. What's up, Ike?
Hey, brother. You know, it's somewhat hilarious. These are the folks that couldn't beat this candidate in 2 general elections.
I know.
Who have lost down the line, and they want to sit here and cry. And by the way, remind me, who was it that was so happy with their insurance to begin with? You know, that's a bit of a misnomer on its own. But listen, it's gotten down to the local level. They just did a report on the local news here, which is very funny because we got crappy local news. But, you know, they're making a big deal out of it. And they held up this document from the insurance company. And the second time they played it, I froze the screen and I read it. This woman's complaining she's getting dropped. Well, I read the document they held up, and in the document it said, yes, we're dropping you from this plan because it doesn't match up with the Affordable Health Care Act. But the next sentence below that is we are going to send you a packet of information of the plans that are going to be available to you within the next 15 days, and you can sign up and choose from one of those plans.
Yes.
So all these people that are crying, you're not getting, you might be getting kicked off of a plan, but trust me, when's the last time insurance companies stopped taking people's money or wanted to kick them out of giving them money? No. All they're going to do is they're going to get another plan. That's all.
No, you're absolutely right. And I remember getting that next plan for the first time, they might qualify for a federal subsidy. And, you know, the federal subsidies are available for families of 4 making up to $100,000 a year, right? So It's not just for the dirt poor, these subsidies. So you're right. They're not going to be without health insurance. The plan that they have now, which is probably a crappy plan, but doesn't cover a lot of stuff, right? That's gone, and they'll get a choice, a big range of choices of another plan that they can buy. Right.
Absolutely, and it's just more of the sky is falling crowd, and they want his head on a stick, and that's the way it's always been, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, we can see, look, you can see, we can see through this thing, and all the hullabaloo and all the cry, oh my God, Ari Cantor, this is disturbing. No, it's not. This is just a little wrinkle it's going to go through. And by the way, if you go back to the language of the Affordable Care Act, this does not come as a surprise. It was written in the language of the Affordable Care Act that there was no doubt that because there are new standards now for what health insurance companies have to provide in basic health insurance, that some of the plans that were out there would not meet the test and therefore would have to go. And that's exactly what's happening. But I think, forget his name, one of our earlier callers said it right. Yeah. The big news here is insurance companies found under Affordable Care Act another way to screw people and to get more money. We'll be talking more about this issue as we go through the morning here. But there's one other.
This is a good segue. Speaking of screwing people and making more money.
Thank you. Yeah, right. That's because this thing caught my attention this morning. You know, you often hear me bitch and complain about airlines these days. They, without drastically, I must say, raising the price of tickets, they have cut back on a lot of flights. Just happened to be on a flight we had booked to Hawaii, by the way. They just canceled the flight. They just told us, we're rebooking you on another flight Consequently, every flight is chock-jammed full, right? Most of them have screaming kids. But they've also found a way of really, yes, Peter, raising revenue and screwing people, the airlines. It's reported this morning that the revenue from airline fees, this is not your ticket price. This is all that extra crap they charge you for now that you always used to get for free, right? Like checking a bag, okay? Revenue is expected to hit $42.6 billion by the end of 2013 among the airlines. So, and most of that, 60% of that comes from frequent flyer programs charging for, baggage fees, getting a better seat. Like, now they have the, with United, it's coach, it's preferred coach or something like that. It's not first class.
Right.
You get a little bit more leg room, and there's first maybe 7 rows.
They learn to start charging for those exit rows.
And for the exit rows, they start charging for those. And travel services, you buy your ticket on the phone instead of online. They charge you more. All this stuff. You change your ticket, they charge you $125.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever. Oh, no. Find all kinds of ways. All those extra fees, you'll be pleased to know, add up to $42.6 billion. And the thing that I found most disturbing is Southwest Airlines, which has been bragging, rightfully so, about it being the only airline that is no baggage fee. And the anti-baggage fee carrier, Southwest Airlines, says they see how much money the other companies are making now by charging, and people are paying for checking a bag, that they're thinking of changing their policy and going to an a la carte baggage fee.
Dude, that would be so bad.
So bad. I mean, Southwest Airlines, come on.
What's amazing about this to me is these things, for the most part, I mean, there were always sort of a frequent flyer program, but most of these fees, they didn't even exist 10 years ago?
No.
8 years ago, even?
No, not even. No, 10. I'd say 5 years
Maybe
ago.
5 years ago. None of this stuff existed. They just created $42 billion.
$42 billion. And the thing is, people pay it.
Ugh.
I'm telling you, pretty soon they're going to start charging you to go to the bathroom on flights. They will. I'm telling you.
You're right.
Yeah, they charge you for a pillow, charge you for a blanket, charge you for a bag of freaking peanuts. When we come back, we're going to be talking to Ginger Gibson from Politico. A very important hearing, and a surprising maybe hearing in the Senate yesterday on the stand your ground laws, especially that one in Florida. She'll tell us all about it next.
This is the Bill Press Show.
This is my computer.
This is your computer. Let's go on the internet.
Let's go. Click it.
Yes.
Okay.
I cursor in between the R and the E. Pressing dot, I want you to just push the period.
She's gonna love me all over again.
That's it. Jamaica, here you go.
Here we go.
Good job.
Thank you. And I did it by myself. Feel smarter.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay. So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. You know, I followed your character since the first episode. I'm a big fan. Big fan.
Thank you.
And listen, your storyline, it makes for incredible TV drama. Thing is, your drug use is very adult content. Too adult for the kids. So I'm gonna have to block you.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, have a good one.
You're a nice lady.
On your radio, on TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
13 minutes before the top of the hour, Cindy Boren from the Washington Post joins us to talk sports at the top of the next hour, and then we'll be joined later by Congresswoman Jan Schakowski from Illinois. Yesterday in the United States Senate, an important hearing on gun safety, particularly on the stand your ground laws that are out there in many states. We heard a lot about, of course, in Florida with the Trayvon Martin case. Ginger Gibson covers the Hill for Politico, joining us on our news line this morning. Hi, Ginger. Thanks. Good to talk to you as always.
Thanks for having me.
Was this hearing yesterday, was it a hearing on specific legislation or more sort of a fact-finding informational hearing?
It's more of a fact-finding informational hearing discussing more broadly the implications of stand your ground laws. And there was some specifics into the Florida law, which is the first that drew our attention. But sort of the big events were Trayvon Martin's mother, Sabrina Fulton, discussing her experience and really trying to give the members a face and a true life story to attach to these stand your ground laws.
Yeah, in fact, Peter, if we can, that first clip here is Miss Fulton, Sabrina Fulton, mother of Trayvon Martin, yesterday in front of the senators.
I just wanted to come here to talk to you for a moment to let you know how important it is that we amend this stand your ground, because it certainly did not work in my case.
In the case of her son. So who convened this hearing, Ginger?
Senator Dick Durbin has been organizing this. In fact, this was the third attempt to hold this hearing. It was delayed twice before. And an attempt to talk about some of these laws and what was going on.
Were there any specific, like Sabrina Fulton talks about, amending the law? I mean, what specifically are they talking about?
Well, as you know, stand your ground laws don't require someone to retreat. So if you feel attacked, you don't have to run. You can just shoot. And when Texas passed the law, they were referred to as the shoot first laws. There is an advocacy to change that, to require some type of retreat. When they point to the Trayvon Martin case, many accuse Zimmerman of being an aggressor, of going towards him. And that while they didn't use the stand your ground laws in that case, instances like that where an attempt to retreat when possible is not made is something that many want to see change.
Is there, I don't recall, I don't know whether it came out in the hearing yesterday, how many states have these stand your ground laws?
There are 20 states. Florida was the first to pass it in 2005, and there are 20 states who have followed after Florida. So a good number have enacted these stand your ground laws.
Were there people there yesterday defending the stand your ground laws?
There were a number of people who testified brought in by Republicans. Leading the charge in protecting these laws was Texas Senator Ted Cruz. He cited a number of statistics in Florida saying that those who met the stand your ground exemptions in the state were more often African American or black instead of white as one justification, and saying these laws were necessary for self-defense.
I'm sorry, he was saying that there are more blacks that took advantage of the stand your ground laws than whites?
It's a very complicated statistic, but yes, he pointed to Florida numbers in which those who were deemed to be using the stand your ground law in Florida to rule the justified shooting were black than white. It gets more complicated when you look at those numbers more in depth. About the color of the victim there, but that was Ted Cruz's argument in the next committee hearing.
So, I mean, if I try to follow that argument, is he saying that because more blacks are killing people under the stand your ground law, therefore it's okay because blacks are the ones who are killing people?
Yes, that about summarizes his argument, that it is not a racial issue.
It sounds like it is a racist issue. He's making it a racist issue, but I mean, I'm not jumping on you. I mean, I just hear this, you could drive a freight train through that argument, through the loopholes in that argument. So what's going to come out of this hearing, if anything?
Nothing. I wouldn't expect much at all to come out of this hearing. Republicans argued it's a state issue, leave it at the state, and we've seen that Democrats don't quite have the will or the power to change any of the gun laws. The failed attempt to pass a background check earlier this year, and we're just too close to an election year. There, a third of the Senate, all of the House up about a year from now, and so once we get that close to election day, there's very little controversial this time. Yeah,
we're always too close to an election year. We're only 1 year away at any time from an election year if we're not in an election year, but it's always an excuse for them to do nothing. And we also know it's not, I would argue. Hey, Ginger, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us to tell us about yesterday's hearing. Ginger Gibson from Politico.com. I sort of say, it's not up to Congress. This is not the reason Congress isn't acting, because this is ALEC. This is the Koch brothers. They're the ones who are writing these laws. This is the Koch brothers' gift to America.
This is the Bill Press Show.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
Columbine, Virginia Tech,
Tucson,
Aurora,
Fort Hood, Oak Creek,
Newtown.
Newtown,
Newtown.
Newtown.
How many more? How many more? How many more colleges? How many more classrooms?
How many more movie theaters?
How many more houses of faith?
How many more shopping malls?
How many more street corners?
How many more?
How many more?
Enough.
Enough.
Enough. Enough.
Demand a plan.
Right now. As a mom.
As a dad.
As a friend.
As a husband.
As a wife.
As an American.
As an American.
As an American.
as a human being.
For the children of Sandy Hook.
Demand a plan. No more lists of names. It's not too soon.
It's too late.
Now is the time.
Before we all know someone who loved someone on that list.
No more lists.
No more.
Who they might have been. No more.
If we had just done something yesterday. It's time.
We can do better than this.
We can do better than this.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time for our leaders to act.
Demand a plan. Right now.
Right now.
You! Demand it!
Enough.
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 None of us would want to be told we can't marry the person we love. As Americans, we believe in freedom. That's what I fought for as a Marine, and that's what we believe in as Republicans. Freedom means freedom for everyone. I didn't used to understand the importance of same-sex marriage, but after learning my brother was gay, I wanted the same rights for him. He was the best man at my wedding, and I want to be the best man at his. It's only fair that Calvin should have the freedom to marry the person he loves, too.
It's time for marriage.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, we got football, baseball, and basketball going on all at the same time. Cindy Boren joins us top of the next hour. Peter, you got a quick story?
Yeah, we mentioned that yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of Superstorm Sandy hitting. So there are a couple of issues around that. First of all, there were some Republicans who went to New York to fundraise on this anniversary. One of them was Tom Coburn, which Pete King, congressman from New York, called disgraceful. But that's not the biggest problem that Tom Coburn has right now. He was speaking to the New York Young Republicans Club, which sounds like a really fun time. He was asked about relations with...
Both of them? Was he speaking to both of them?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
He was asked about relations within the Senate, and Coburn said, I have a great relationship with a lot of Democratic leaders and senators, except for Harry Reid. Quote, I think he's an absolute a-hole. Because we didn't say a-hole. He actually called him a blank hole. So there you go. That's how well they get along.
What is Tom Coburn trying to do? Out-cruise Cruz?
Apparently, man.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
They're clearly not buddies.
This is the world's greatest deliberative body.
God help us.
Coburn doesn't belong.
Is the Bill Press Show.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Good morning, friends and neighbors. It's a Wednesday, October 30, day before Halloween. Oh, my God. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Bill Press Show this Wednesday morning. We are booming out to you live from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., our studio right here on Capitol Hill in the shadow of the Capitol Dome, just down the street from the United States Capitol building, where we've got our eye on what's happening here in Washington. At this end of Pennsylvania Avenue, the Capitol, and the other end of Pennsylvania Avenue, of course, the White House. Will tell you what's going on in Washington. We'll tell you what's going on around the country and around the globe. And that's our job. Your job is to tell us what you think about it. Remember, you can do so by giving us a call at 866-55-PRESS. You can do so by sending us your comments on Twitter at BP Show. And on Facebook at facebook.com/Bill Press Show. Well, big excitement today is Kathleen Sebelius will be testifying in front of Congress. But, you know, the focus has shifted from what went wrong with the website to how come some Americans who already have health care are losing those plans when President Obama said over and over again that that would never happen. Of course, it's because the insurance companies see an opportunity. They are dumping people making them drop their current plans and replace those plans with better but more expensive plans. But, of course, after Kathleen Sebelius explains that, the enemies of Obamacare will just find something else to complain about. In other news, a big hearing yesterday in the Senate on gun safety. That issue hasn't gone away. President Obama goes to Boston today to talk about health care, and the Red Sox try to wrap it up at Fenway Park tonight. Stay tuned for all of the above here on The Bill Press Show.
This is The Bill Press Show.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Aww, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we have pep talkers standing by to get you motivated for your GED diploma. Text the name Terry to 69222 for a sympathetic pep talk.
You show people what you really are.
Or for a gentle pep talk, text the name Deborah.
You know you're going to make people very proud of you.
And if that's not enough, text the name Danny for an extreme pep talk.
Prove everyone wrong. Show them you're the boss.
Get your GED pep talk and find free GED classes. Text the name of the person you want a pep talk from to 69222.
Did you see the world differently? Did you celebrate the victory?
So today, I state clearly and with conviction America's commitment to seek the peace and security of a world without nuclear weapons.
Did you stand up against our greatest threat? Change the world.
Broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
Kathleen Sebelius heads to the Hill about an hour from now. We're going to try to throw Daniela to the Lions, I guess. She'll hold her own. Good morning, everybody. What do you say? It is Wednesday, October 30. This is the Bill Press Show. And we are there on your local progressive talk radio station, bringing you the news of the day from Washington, from around the country, from around the globe. That's our job. Your job is to tell us what the hell you think about it. And you know how to do it. Give us a call at 866-55-PRESS. Send us your comments, your snide, nasty, cynical...
Don't invite that. We get enough of that already.
Hateful or cheerful comments.
There you go.
On Twitter at BP Show and Facebook at facebook.com/Bill Press Show. Happy to welcome one of our best friends back in the studio today. It's such a great sports time with everybody. Every possible sport is out there these days. So Cindy Boren, sports blogger for the Washington Post, here in studio with us. She's a blogger of the Early Lead. Hey, Cindy, nice to see you.
Hey, Bill, great to be here.
Everything good? This is your season.
It's the fun time of year.
You are a happy camper. Huh?
Yeah.
What's not happening right now in sports?
Olympics, but that's coming up.
Well, I mean, you got basketball, football, and
hockey,
baseball.
College football.
We were talking about sports, not hockey.
Midnight Madness. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. That was rude.
That was just wrong.
I'm sorry to our Canadian listeners.
There it is.
Everything.
No, curling for Canadian listeners.
Well, you're not going to have baseball for much longer.
That's right. Maybe
one way or another.
Game, maybe two games. Peter Ogburn, leading team press here this morning with Alicia Cruz on the phones and Cyprian Bolding on the video cam. So, again, as if baseball and football weren't enough, last night, NBA comes back, and there were several big games. The biggest was maybe... Well, I don't know, but the Miami Heat, biggest game.
Defending champs.
They got their rings.
That's right. Miami Heat versus Chicago Bulls, and the big news was Derrick Rose was back in the lineup. He sat out an entire season, right?
He did. We haven't seen him play in a real game since April of 2012.
Whoa.
Late April.
Anyhow, and so the LeBron James says they knew they had to make special preparations, knowing he'd be on the court.
We just try to make it tough on everybody. I don't think it was a bad game for him. He's just a little bit out of rhythm. Turned the ball over a few times, but when he's on the floor, he's impactful. You got to pay close attention to him, and we just try to make it tough on him. We try to make it tough on everyone, and that's what we're about.
Especially tough on him, huh? They didn't have much of a problem winning that game.
No, they didn't. But Derrick Rose had a couple of really nice plays that in which he looked like Derrick Rose and looked fantastic. And he's only going to get better as the season progresses.
He also had a couple plays where he looked like Pete Rose.
And he
there.
did. He did. That is true. And the game really wasn't terribly fascinating once it started.
The
pregame stuff was great, but it was kind of a block.
And the Lakers game was...
that was interesting. So much for the Clippers, huh? They've got their new coach, their glitzy new lineup, and, the Lakers don't have Kobe. They don't have... What's that guy's name? Howard? What was his name?
Who?
They don't have him anymore, and, they won.
Yeah, how about it? All right, so we're going to cover the whole waterfront on sports here with Cindy Boren this first half hour. Jan Schakowski, Congresswoman Jan Schakowski from... Chicago will be joining us at the half. In the next hour, Victoria Jones from Talk Radio News here is a friend of Bill. And then we're going to talk to the pastor from Mississippi who has generated all kinds of headlines by banning fried chicken at his church in Mississippi. Isn't that un-American?
Wow. In the South it is. Southern fried chicken. Hello.
Yeah.
Not at his church. We'll find out why. But first, this is the stories of the day here.
Indeed, a couple of other stories making news. The 2013 Toronto Global Forum is taking place later this week, and one attendee might want to tread lightly. That man is Dick Cheney. A group called Lawyers Against the War sent a letter to the police in Toronto asking that Cheney be arrested for war crimes when he comes to town to speak at the event. Quoting from their letter, quote, "Torture is also a crime under the Crimes Against Humanity and War Crimes Act. Once Dick Cheney enters Canada, both the torture he has admitted to authorizing and the torture that he is accused of, are deemed to have been committed in Canada." Police have not responded to the letter. So we'll see what happens.
Oh my gosh, that would be funny. Is he going quail hunting while he's up there?
Quail hunters of Canada pray that he isn't. Trust me. I'll call this one nasty breakup. Earl Jones is a man in Colorado. His wife filed for divorce recently, and let's just say he didn't take it very well. Upon receiving the news, he cashed in $500,000 in the couple's savings, turned it into gold, and threw it in the river. He would rather not have any of the money than give any of it to her. The money is gone.
Where exactly was this again?
In Colorado, yes, exactly.
Getting a scuba diving outfit.
Gold 500. That's not lost. That gold is at the bottom of the river somewhere.
Good luck.
I'm
Good
going
luck.
fishing.
It doesn't float. Yeah.
And let's say this was a lesson learned the hard way. Yesterday marked the 100 days until the beginning of the Winter Games. And in commemoration, Ralph Lauren unveiled the new USA uniforms that will be worn during the opening and closing ceremonies.
Whoa.
You might remember that for the Summer Olympics, they took some heat because they outsourced the making of the unis to China.
Yeah.
This year, they vowed all uniforms made right here in the United States of America.
And then we're already seeing the uniform. Have you seen them?
Yeah,
Cindy?
I saw them
Did you see
yesterday.
it?
Yeah, I mean, they're it's the Winter Olympics. There's
some cool sweaters.
And,
I'm gonna be honest. I want one of those sweaters.
Oh, really?
With a little moose on the front and the snowflakes.
and the giant polo logo.
Yeah, well, I could live without that giant polo logo.
You're gonna get it.
I'll have to put that on everything.
I'll have to bring them up during the break. Okay. All right, now, forget the World Series. The biggest news of the day is that Dan Snyder, the owner of that Washington football team, met yesterday with Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL. And among things that may have discussed, Cindy, is a name change for Washington's football team. What do we know about this meeting?
Well, it was between two men, and we don't know a great deal about it because neither one of them is really saying very much about it.
And it was a not open press, right? It was
no.
We
haven't really heard anything from Snyder about it since he wrote his letter to the fans a couple of weeks ago.
Saying never, never. Was it
softening that, but yeah.
Was it called by Goodell on this topic?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yeah.
And so this now, the other thing that happened is Friday, the neighbor of Dan Snyder out in Potomac or wherever he lives, actually trademarked the name Brave Hearts. And some people were saying, oh my God, this means that Dan Snyder over the back fence got his neighbor to say, do me a favor. I can't do it, but you could do it for me.
Maybe.
So shall we read anything into this?
I would not.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that Bravehearts is that great. Frankly,
I don't either.
But
I don't like it.
I know it's not.
I wish I had an answer. If I had a compelling answer for a name to change, a name change possibility, it would be great. But I don't, and I haven't heard one from anyone yet. I think it's going to take some more thought before anybody gets to that point. But I think this is a long way down the road. And the notion that the commissioner runs the NFL is somewhat misguided. I mean, the owners run the NFL. The commissioner works for the owners. So I'm sure it was an interesting meeting.
Hey, Peter,
that's the thing. That's the question I had is sort of what Goodell could even do in this situation.
Well, nothing if he wants to keep working. I mean, this is a group of 32 billionaire men who own these teams. It's a multi-billion-dollar business. And when it starts to hurt them financially, then suddenly there will be some real momentum to change the name. But as long as people are still buying the gear and it's one of the top sellers, in the world in athletic stuff, memorabilia, jerseys, etc., it's not going to change.
Well, there's an interesting take on that, Peter, if we can. One of your colleagues, Christine Brennan, spoke about this yesterday, about how that idea of changing the name and leading to new merchandise might actually be a plus.
Sure, it could.
Here she is.
Think about the excitement of the fans, all of the sales of all the new T-shirts and hats. I mean, to me, this is a no-brainer. You do something new and different. You energize the fan base. Little kids will be getting involved with contests to name the team or come up with the new logo.
We could have a rename the team contest right here on the show,
But the fan base doesn't need to be energized. It's a very, very vigorous fan base. It's very outspoken, and they love the name for the most part. Most of them want the name to stay. I just think I think it's great that there's this grassroots movement toward it, and we've all seen the power of social media and the power of change, especially in this day and age. It can happen really quickly, and that's always possible. My colleague Mike Wise believes the name will be changed in the next 5 years. I think it will be changed. I'm not sure of the time frame yet. I think it's inevitable that it will be changed.
Mm-hmm.
I just think there's going to have to be some financial pressure and some other things brought to bear on it.
All right, I want to move on to the World Series, but I do want to note that we have successfully talked about this topic for the last few minutes without naming the name.
You noticed that?
Yes. Well, I was being careful, and you were too. That's the rule. Okay. Red Sox going to put it away tonight?
Can I say Red Sox? Gosh, I grew up in the Midwest. When I was a kid, I was a Cardinals fan. I've outgrown that and put that away since I've become a journalist and I haven't been back in the Midwest in a number of years. It feels to me like it's over, that the Red Sox will put it away.
It does have that feeling, doesn't it?
It does. But you know what? This has been weird.
Yeah, and the Cardinals are one hell of a team, and they've played good baseball.
Well,
and they've got, I forget who the pitcher is tonight, but he's...
Michael Wacha.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the guy that nearly no-hit your Nats at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the last regular season. I think the problem with the Cardinals is you almost, they're vampires. You really have to drive a stake through their heart to finish them off. And, and I think we all know that anything can happen after the last two games of the World Series. Maybe it's not over. I think it'd be great if it went 7 games and it ended however it ends on Halloween. That would be just fun.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine that crowd at Fenway Park on Halloween?
They haven't won the World Series in Fenway since 1918, I think it is.
Yeah. No,
wow, I didn't think about that.
Right.
Yeah.
There's so much riding on this game. It's exciting, and it's been great baseball, I think.
Well, it's been interesting. I've never seen an obstruction call at a moment like that.
I have to ask you about the obstruction call. Was it the right call?
Yes.
God, why did everybody disagree with me on that?
Bill is dying to find someone to agree with him on that.
It would to me, it's only obstruction if the guy deliberately gets in his way, and he didn't deliberately.
But you can't
he fell down.
But you can't look to that. Next thing you know, you're going to...
Yes, you can.
No, you can't, because you're going to stand there and you're going to say to the guy, "Did you intend to do that?" No, Mr.
Scout's
umpire,
honor.
I did not intend to do that. Then you're going to end up... The games are already 4 hours long.
You know who the
guy was in the way.
The dumbass was the runner. I forget his name. I mean, he could have leaped over him or something.
Actually, he couldn't because he has a bum ankle. He hasn't played since the...
Well, then he shouldn't have been running.
This is great. This is great. Bill Press for Major League Baseball commissioner. Please.
All I'm saying is, to me, the guy goes for the ball. He misses the ball. He's flat on his face, right? And then they accuse him of obstruction.
Well, but... He did.
Anyhow.
He did. It was Bill. It's okay, Bill.
And
I'm going to buy you a baseball rules book for Christmas.
Yeah.
Change the rule. And now, the next night, how many times have you seen somebody picked off? They always throw the ball, and I always think, why are they wasting their time? Because they never get them. They never get them.
Oh, no, they
but
get them.
But the one time they do, man. Whew.
It happens frequently. It just doesn't happen with the walk-off out in the World Series. That was ludicrous. It was, it's just one of those moments.
What a way!
On Saturday night it was confusing. On Sunday night it was just your jaw just dropped. No one had anything to say. It was just unbelievable. And you got to feel for the kid. I mean, the kid who got picked off is a 23-year-old Hawaiian player, Colton Wong, and. He stood there and he answered every single question afterward. He was, teary. He was.
I know.
I feel bad for him.
I know.
On the other hand, dude.
Well, he says whatever he was. He leaned the wrong way.
Here's the one thing you can't do when you're sent in as a pinch runner in the bottom of the 9th inning: get picked off.
Right.
With Carlos Beltran at the plate.
Yeah. Exactly. That was trouble.
Cindy Boren here from the Washington Post, early lead sports blogger. This is your chance. Sports fans, get your calls, get your questions in. We didn't even get to the NFL yet, and more about NBA too when we come back. All kinds of anything goes. Anything goes on sports with Cindy. 866-55-PRESS.
This is the Bill Press Show.
This is my computer.
This is your computer. Let's go on the internet.
Let's go. Click it.
Yes.
Okay.
I cursor in between the R and the E. When I say done, I want you to just push the period.
She's gonna love me all over again.
That's it. Jamaica, here you go.
Here we go.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. And I did it by myself. Feel smarter.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay. So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. You know, I followed your character since the first episode. I'm a big fan. Big fan.
Thank you.
And listen, your storyline, it makes for incredible TV drama. Thing is, your drug use is very adult content. Too adult for the kids. So I'm gonna have to block you.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, have a good one.
You're a nice lady.
Connect with The Bill Press Show on Twitter. Follow us at BP Show and tweet using the hashtag WatchingBP. This is The Bill Press Show.
All right, 25 minutes after the hour now. Here we go. Sports fans, The Bill Press Show with Cindy Boren, early lead sports blogger for the Washington Post, in studio with us, WashingtonPost.com, and then follow the links to Cindy Boren right here in studio. We were talking about the World Series. During the break, I just noticed a news item. The Cardinals flying to Boston last night.
Had a little problem.
Mechanical problem. They sat the team and their families on the charter jet sat on the tarmac for 6 hours.
Yeah.
With mechanical problems, they got to Boston 6 hours late. Bad omen.
It might be a good omen.
Wow, how could that be good?
Because they seem to do better when they're distracted, when, they're discombobulated.
They're drunk. They were sitting
Well,
on the tarmac for that.
So,
There are only a
since there
couple
were
things to do when you're
kids-
stuck
there
in an
were
airplane for
kids
6 hours.
on the plane. At least it wasn't hot, and the bathrooms I'm pretty sure were working. So and it seems incomprehensible that they couldn't get a plane there a little more quickly to get them out of there, or let them off the plane. I can understand it when I fly coach on a certain airline that shall remain nameless, but they're going to just let them sit there on the tarmac?
We talked at the very top about the new uniforms that were unveiled yesterday. I don't know if Cyprian can catch a shot of that, but I've got it up on the screen.
Oh, there you go.
This is the pea jacket, I guess.
Little pea coat, yeah.
Yeah, I like a good pea coat. I don't like that logo on it.
But yeah,
No.
I mean,
I go pea coat in the winter,
very
sure.
logo-y.
No, exactly. And the colors are fine, and it looks not that much different about it. But I mean, having the Ralph Lauren thing on the lapel, I mean, come on, that's
I don't like that. It's tacky.
That's cheesy. That really is.
But it's American. What says America more than a giant logo on it? Is that wrong?
No, except it's just that gets into like the whole naming of the stadiums and everything, which drives me freaking crazy. But the other thing and I like Ralph Lauren's clothes, and I have a lot of his shirts.
Well, you can buy that soon,
Okay,
Yeah.
but my point is, you can get it. Like some of them come with a great big horse.
Yes.
And some of them come with a little one.
Little
They
horse.
could have put the little one, would have been better. That's the biggest ass
But see-
horse I've ever seen.
But that's Secretariat.
Yeah,
that will show up on TV cameras
There
when they're
you go.
marching.
I know
into the
why they're
stadium.
doing it. Yeah. Okay. Hey, oh God, we're almost running out of time. I have to ask you about this NFL season. I didn't see a lot to cheer about.
You got like 30 seconds.
Yeah, it hasn't been terribly exciting. In fact, this week there's only one game that has a matchup between two teams with winning records.
Fun!
Thanks to the buys and stuff like that, and it's the Monday night game. So yeah, it's been somewhat down, but the ratings are still great and everybody watches. So.
And lousy records for some of these teams. I mean, look at the Giants, right? I mean, for example,
They've won 2 in a row.
Yeah, right. I know. I mean,
Washington has
in
the
that
best
division.
Washington has the best 2-5 team in the NFL.
Well, maybe they and the Giants may be tied.
Cindy Boren, WashingtonPost.com. Check out Cindy Boren. Hey, thank you so much for coming in. It's always
It's
fun.
the Bill Press Show.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
Columbine, Virginia Tech,
Tucson,
Aurora,
Fort Hood, Oak Creek,
Newtown.
Newtown,
Newtown.
Newtown.
How many more?
How many more? How many more colleges? How many more classrooms?
How many more movie theaters?
How many more houses of faith?
How many more shopping malls?
How many more street corners?
How many more?
How many more?
Enough. 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 Enough.
Demand a plan.
Right now. As a mom.
As a dad. As a friend. As a husband.
As a wife.
As an American.
As an American.
As an American.
As a human being.
For the children of Sandy Hook.
Demand a plan. No more lists of names. It's not too soon.
It's too late.
Now is the time.
Before we all know someone who loved someone on that list.
No more lists.
No more.
Who they might have been. No more.
If we had just done something yesterday. It's time.
We can do better than this.
We can do better than this.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time for our leaders to act. Demand a plan. Right now.
Right now.
You! Demand it!
Enough.
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 None of us would want to be told we can't marry the person we love. As Americans, we believe in freedom. That's what I fought for as a Marine, and that's what we believe in as Republicans. Freedom means freedom for everyone. I didn't used to understand the importance of same-sex marriage, but after learning my brother was gay, I wanted the same rights for him. He was the best man at my wedding, and I want to be the best man at his. It's only fair that Calvin should have the freedom to marry the person he loves, too.
It's time for marriage.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Seen on Free Speech TV and online on TawkrTV. This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, let's make it 33 minutes after the hour on Wednesday morning, October 30. It's the Bill Press Show, coming to you live from our nation's capital and brought to you today by the United Steelworkers and their international president, Leo Gerard. The good men and women of the Steelworkers Union, North America's largest industrial union, representing over 1.2 million active and retired members. And you can find more about their good work under President Leo Gerard at their website, usw.org. Hour and a half from now, HHS Secretary Kathleen Sebelius will be on Capitol Hill. The cables are already promoting the fact that she'll be testifying, starting that hearing of the House Energy and Commerce Committee, starting at 9 a.m. What can we expect? Let's talk to a good friend from Illinois, Congresswoman Jan Schakowski, joining us on our newsline this morning.
Morning.
Hey, Congresswoman, good morning. Always good to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you, Bill. Thanks.
What do you think we're going to hear from Kathleen Sebelius here this morning?
Well, she's clearly going to be peppered with the problems with the website. The Republicans, I'm sure, are strategizing now. What is the greatest way to not only attack her, but to attack Obamacare, to attack the president? They'll be very self-righteous about it, and still have no plan for all those people that are uninsured and underinsured.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is not a hearing the purpose of which is to improve the Affordable Care Act or to amend it to make it better or to better serve people, right?
Oh, not at all. That's the irony. These people, who are so offended by how the website didn't work, of course, are really delighted in it, and are, we'll see if they're able to hide their glee in the fact that there's been some problems.
But it is, let me see, we got to be honest with ourselves, right? I mean, this was a big screw up here, and it shouldn't have happened. Would you agree? I would agree. It absolutely, there's no one more furious than the president, who, this is his signature program that he's so proud of, that we're all so proud of. I helped pass it and write Absolutely.
it,
Yep.
and so I feel that way. But, I have to say that it sort of follows the pattern of Medicare and Medicare Part D and, creating a huge program. And we're not even a month out, barely a month out, and it's going to be fixed. But I agree.
You're confident it's going to be fixed?
Oh, I have no question in my mind that it's
in
going.
time for people to sign up?
Oh, I absolutely. When they said November 30th, it'll be perfect. I think really they expect sooner than that. And I know I went on myself yesterday just to check it out. I had no problem scrolling through healthcare.gov. Now, I obviously I wasn't trying to set up a plan, but yes, I think absolutely it's getting better every day.
Now, the latest charge, of course, is in fact, somewhat the critics have shifted from the website, I think because they know it's going to be fixed, to this issue now that some people who do have health insurance today are going to lose their plan and are going to have to move to another plan. What's that all about?
Well,
first of all, is it true, and what's it all about?
Well, they're not going to lose their plan. What the letters from the insurance companies are saying that because basically what they're saying between the lines, because our plan didn't meet with the high standards of Obamacare, then we're no pre-existing conditions and no lifetime or annual caps, etc. Then we're going to offer you another plan, and often that is a plan that costs more. I get that. Some of the plans have been grandfathered in, and many of the people won't have to change plans. But in order to really do the great things that Obamacare required, they're saying we can't offer you the same plan, same, in parentheses, my addition, lousy plan.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and so my suggestion to those folks would be to go to the marketplace, check out whether or not there is something that offers you something very much what you had, even better, and at a comparable or a lower price. So you can now shop.
And whether you qualify for a subsidy, right?
And whether or not you qualify for a subsidy. And, those subsidies go fairly high in income. If you're a family of four making $94,000, up to $94,000, you get a subsidy.
Right.
So check it out. In fact, what they're saying is that of people who go to the marketplace, overall, including Medicaid-eligible people, about 60% of people will get a subsidy. For young people, about 70% of young people can find something for $100 or less, 47%, $50 or less of people 18 to 34 years old. So there's bargains on the marketplace, and people should go to healthcare.gov or their state plan.
And really, it seems to me that this whole, as you pointed out, what this really amounts to is insurance companies have found a way under the Affordable Care Act to get people to force them to change their plan, and in some cases they will have to pay more, I guess.
Yes, in some cases, people who make well over 4 times the poverty level, they may be paying more, but they are getting so much more than they got before. I mean, this idea of anybody can get sick and then have a pre-existing condition, and so they can still choose the kind of plan they want, the network they want, etc. If they go to the website, but it'll cover the 10 basic things, including for women. It's really great maternity, which only 12% of current policies cover, believe it or not. And so it's going to be a good, comprehensive set of benefits that they'll pay for. It'll be a good buy, although you're right, some people will pay more.
Did President Obama oversell the plan when he said over and over again, if you have your plan today and you like it, you can keep it?
I think to some extent that is true. I think that even though some plans are grandfathered in with the same exact benefits that they had before, many plans are not any longer, and so I think it is true. But let's remember that only about 5% of insured Americans buy their own insurance through the individual market. I'm not going to, poo-poo that, because that's still a lot of people. But only some subgroup of those people are getting those letters.
Only a subgroup of that 5%.
That's right.
And, if the president had said 99% of you who have your own plans, it would have been probably 100% accurate, right?
That's right. That's
right. But Congresswoman, it's not as bad as saying Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction, and we have to invade that country.
Good point. That's a good point. No, it's not. But of course they will, pick that sore today, I think, and just go over and over again.
Oh yeah. And when this is resolved, they'll find something else about the Affordable Care. Congressman, I remember being in the East Room of the White House with you and talking to you that glorious day when the president signed that piece of legislation.
Oh,
that was a magic moment.
It was. It was.
And it remains a great piece of legislation and a great contribution, I think, to the people of this country, right up there with Social Security and Medicare. And people will see that someday, but this is a rocky period in the meantime because of its enemies, of people who don't want it to work.
Oh, I mean, I am getting letters from people that, could just make you weep. The people who have had terrible pre-existing conditions and have been fighting with their insurance companies for years and are so grateful that they're going to be able to get covered for their cancer, for their diabetes, for their child with asthma. I mean, a woman who said, it took me a while, 5 tries to get onto the website. I finally got on, and I'm saving $5,000. This makes such a difference in my life. So, yes, and I think in so many ways, the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, really is a blessing for so many Americans, millions of Americans.
I'll let you go after this last question, but I think, and you're so grateful, so generous with your time, but on Illinois, and I should know this, is Illinois have its own website or is part of the federal program?
Illinois is what is called a partnership state right now, where...
and how's it going? What do you hear?
The Get Covered Illinois is going pretty well, but so you can sign up right there for Medicaid. In order to, right now, to sign up for the marketplace, they will shift you over to healthcare.gov.
I see.
And many legislators are talking about making it a state-run exchange very, very soon.
Yeah, like Kentucky and California and some of the others that are really doing very well. Yeah, indeed. Congresswoman, you got a busy day ahead of you. We'll let you go. Get to that hearing. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you,
All
Bill.
Right. Jan
Bye-bye.
Schakowski from Illinois. She's the greatest. And you can follow her on Twitter, by the way, at Rep Schakowsky.
On your radio, on TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
So this is my computer.
This is your computer. Let's go on the internet.
Let's go. Click it.
Yes.
Okay.
I cursor in between the R and the E. Pressing down, I want you to just push the period.
She's gonna love me all over again.
That's it. Jamaica, here you go.
Here we go.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. And I did it by myself. Feel smarter.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay. So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. You know, I followed your character since the first episode. I'm a big fan. Big fan. Thank you. And listen, your storyline, it makes for incredible TV drama. Thing is, your drug use is very adult content. Too adult for the kids. So I'm gonna have to block you.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, have a good one.
You're a nice lady.
This is the Bill Press Show.
It is the Bill Press Show, brought to you today by LifeLock. Yes, indeed. All right, we got 11 minutes now to go before the top of the hour with Secretary of HHS, Kathleen Sebelius, and her long-awaited testimony in front of the House Energy and Commerce Committee scheduled at just around 9 o'clock. A lot of anticipation for that. And you know that the enemies of Obamacare are going to be out, guns a-blazing, to try to shoot holes in the program. Of course, they're offering nothing to in its place and offering no ideas on how to fix it. The fact is that HHS is in the very busy now in the process of fixing the problems with the website. On that issue, before we move along, Chris calling from down in Richmond, Texas. Hello, Chris. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning, Bill. How are you?
I'm good, thank
you. I'm a great listener of you.
You're very kind.
Started out with
Thank you.
Current TV, and now I'm on Free Speech.
Free Speech. All right. Love it.
Yeah, my comment to you is I have Medicare, and I have Texan Plus, which is the insurance from Texas. And I just got my renewal. My doctors are not changing, and my insurance is not changing.
Well, that's good to hear, and that's why you're part of that 5%, and not all of the 5% are going to have to change their plan. So we're really down to a small segment of the population that will have to change.
Well,
right?
see, this is Texas, and Texas Plus is very big here.
And is it a good plan? You happy with the plan?
Absolutely, absolutely. I get everything that I want. I have to get some referrals, but I get everything.
But you see,
name it, and I get it. No copay.
Yeah, and again, those people that are impacted by this are people who do not have a good plan, whose plans do not meet the test, and the insurance companies are dropping the plans, and the people who are in those plans have to scramble and find something else. But I'm glad you called, because it even, again, Chris, further narrows the people who are adversely impacted by this one little wrinkle in the Affordable Care Act. That's good to hear.
Too. He's on United Healthcare, and he's not changing.
He's not changing either, right?
No,
yeah.
no.
So President Obama was...
We're in stone here.
Good.
And Obama, I thank him from the deep bottom of my heart.
Yeah, consider yourself lucky, Chris. Absolutely. And you're one of those people President Obama was talking about when he said, if you've got your health care plan, like Chris does, and you like it, you're happy with it, you are, you're set. Here's the president again, maybe 3 years ago now, when he was talking about what we could expect with Obamacare.
So let me be clear. If you like your doctor or health care provider, you can keep them. If you like your health care plan, you can keep that too.
First, no matter what you've heard, if you like your doctor or health care plan, you can keep it. If you don't have insurance, you'll finally be able to afford it.
We will keep this promise to the American people. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period. If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan, period.
Yep, it was made it clear. Now, maybe he should have said 99.9% of the time that's going to be accurate. But there are a certain percentage, a small percentage of Americans who are now in a crappy plan that no longer meets the test, no longer good enough to be accepted by Obamacare, that will have to change plans. They're the only ones that where there is any exception. President Obama on the road today to the busiest city on the planet today. We'll tell you about that when we come back.
This is the Bill Press Show.
All right, here we go. It's that time to jump into hour number 3. You can't join us on Free Speech TV, unfortunately. But good for you. You can continue to watch the show on the video stream at TawkrTV. That's youtube.com/TawkrTV. And in our next hour, Victoria Jones from Talk Radio News covers the White House for Talk Radio News. We'll be here in studio as a friend of Bill. We'll talk to the pastor down in Mississippi who, get this, banned fried chicken from his church. Oh, my God.
I wish I was in school. If only I had a math test today. Or a book report to give. I wish I was in school. I'll stay after class. I'll clean the chalkboard. I'll do extra homework. I'll skip recess. I wish I was in school. I wish I was in school. I really wish I was in school.
School ends, but free lunches for your kids don't have to. Find your local food bank at feedingamerica.org/summer meals for help. Together, we're feeding America.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, Real answers, right now.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Yes, President Obama, well, to get the daily briefing this morning, and then he meets with Secretary of the Treasury, Jack Lew. And then the president goes on the road, hopping on Air Force One for a big flight up to Boston, where he will deliver an address at Faneuil Hall at 4 o'clock this afternoon about health care. Then he goes on to a fundraising event for the DCCC, the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, at a private residence in Boston. Now, what else is happening in Boston today?
What could it be?
Let's see. Yeah, something around, not Faneuil Hall, but maybe Fenway Park. I just wonder. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little change in the schedule. At present, it has the president leaving Boston at 6:50 to come back to Andrews Air Force Base and back to the White House. But if
I'm president,
I mean, how could you resist if you're in Boston and it's the 6th game of the World Series?
If I'm president, I'm going to that game.
I'm going to that game.
Damn
too.
right.
And you know what? I don't care if I have a ticket or not. My word is, you find me a seat. Damn it. All right. Victoria Jones from Talk Radio News joins us as a friend of Bill in the next hour. And we'll talk to that pastor from Mississippi who banned fried chicken in his church.
Is the Bill Press Show. Broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is The Bill Press Show.
Just 1 hour from now, Kathleen Sebelius on the hot seat. Yeah. You know what? She can hold her own. I'm not worried. Good morning, everybody. What do you say? It is the Bill Press Show on Wednesday, October 30. So good to see you today. Thank you for joining us. We're booming out to you on your local progressive talk radio station, wherever you happen to be in this great land of ours. And you can video stream the show, too, on TawkrTV. How about it? Go to youtube.com/TawkrTV. We are actually, as we've told you, some 133 countries, people tuning in and watching on TawkrTV. And we salute you all, well, whether you are in Belarus or Nigeria or Sweden or Ireland or Iceland. Thank you for, being part of the program. It's good to have you with us. I'm sorry we can't speak in all of those languages, but we do our best in English, which is somewhat of a second language to us anyhow. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you. Don't forget, we want you to join the conversation on the news of the day. Give us a call at 866-55-PRESS. Send us your comments on Twitter at BP Show, nasty or not, we'll take them. And on Facebook, friendly comments, of course, only friendly comments on Facebook at facebook.com/Bill Press Show. Speaking of friends, look who's here as a friend this hour, Victoria Jones, with Talk Radio News, covering the White House, challenging me at the briefings to see which one of us can get a question in. And usually it's neither one of us.
Well, that, of course, is the question,
Victoria.
isn't it? Yes.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
You've been up at it. You got your newsletter out already this morning. You're servicing all of your stations around the country.
Oh, yes.
I mean, God. You know.
Stations and political types and people who read the news. Yes, very exciting.
And it's an exciting time, and we've had a lot of.
It's crazy. It's
got,
crazy
from
times.
NSA to healthcare to immigration. You know, yesterday there was a hearing on the stand your ground laws. I mean, so a lot of the issues bubbling these days right now.
And do you know what happened on this night in 1938?
I don't remember.
October the 30th. Neither do I. This is Devil's Night.
What does that mean?
The night before Halloween is Devil's Night.
Okay. And what happened?
A whole load of people in the United States went insane. They started calling police switchboards, newspaper switchboards, arming themselves, fleeing their homes. Some of them were going to commit suicide because they thought the Martians were landing.
Oh, is this the radio? What was his name?
War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds. Orson Welles.
Broadcast H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds on this night.
This night
in 1938.
75 years ago.
Yeah. And in fact, radio stations around the world are going to replay it. So don't be fooled.
Don't
it's
freak
real.
out.
They're coming.
They're coming.
Yeah.
Could that happen today, do you think?
Yes.
It still happens on Fox News.
I know.
On a daily basis.
I mean, from what I've read about that, it was insane. I mean, people really believed it.
Yeah.
Have you ever, by the way, I did this once a couple years ago. I went back and listened to the whole thing. And what's interesting...
I haven't for a long time.
It's worth doing. It's really fascinating. Because what's interesting is they they set it up that it was a radio drama. They weren't really necessarily hiding the fact that it was a radio drama, but they just mentioned it once at the beginning and then carried on. It's so well done. It's so well done.
It's believable. And if you just tune in, you missed the bit that you missed the disclaimer.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Oh, scary indeed.
So you do miss the disclaimer if you happen to tune in to Kathleen Sebelius being barbecued at about 9:30 and you think it's real.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Oh, my God. One other little bit of news. In New York City, they have a Nanny Bloomberg, as they call him, is still the mayor. And he has the latest is, as part of his health conscious program, to raise they're going to vote on this today. Haven't officially done it. The City Council will vote to raise the age for buying cigarettes from 18 to 21 in New York City. Dr. Richard Besser last night on ABC News pointed out how this sort of, from the store owner's point of view, might make sense.
If you use a cutoff of 21 and require that stores are checking IDs, you're not falling into this area where, well, an 18-year-old, a 16-year-old, they kind of look around the same age. 21 is the age that stores are used to looking to check for alcohol consumption. Now adding cigarettes to that, it's an easy thing for them to do.
So, can't buy booze, can't buy cigarettes. Do you think it'll work?
No.
I don't either.
It's absolutely not going to work. I see his logic completely.
Yeah. But
kids buy cigarettes at 12.
I know. And as I said earlier this morning, they'll just go to New Jersey and buy them.
Of course they will.
Yeah, right.
They'll go to Indian reservations and buy them. I mean, come on.
Yeah, not going to work.
Not going to work.
We got a lot to cover here, which we will with Victoria Jones, the news of the day. We're going to be joined at the half hour. Excited about this. You and I, Victoria, will have a chance to talk to the pastor down in Mississippi who has made a lot of news by banning fried chicken at his church. I thought that was un-American. We'll find out from him. But first, Peter with the big stories of the day.
Full court
yes, indeed. A couple of stories making news. Forget the World Series. Forget football. The basketball season is underway. Yeah. Last night, the NBA had a couple big matchups as the season officially tipped off. The biggest game was the defending champion Miami Heat taking on the Chicago Bulls, and the return of the Bulls' Derrick Rose, who sat out all of last season with an injury. Although the Heat had little problem putting that team away, they won 107-95. Elsewhere, the Lakers beat their in-town rivals, the Clippers, 116-103.
Yeah.
Good action last night.
Derrick Rose, he's back, and you're happy. You're a happy man. I know this is Peter's sport.
I like basketball. That's my sport.
Okay. Then.
Speaking of the Heat is on in Irwindale, California. They got a little more than they bargained for when they opened up a new $40 million, 650,000 square foot factory that Sriracha hot sauce uses to make their hot sauce. They opened up a factory there in Irwindale.
The hot sauce capital of the world.
The problem, of course, is that when they make this hot sauce, the fumes that are given off in the process of making it, of the chili peppers and the garlic, residents are now complaining that it's irritating their throat and eyes, and they are suing the company because of the damage that's being inflicted.
I mean,
of course they did.
Yeah, they could be. They could be alongside of a sewage treatment plant.
Yeah,
you know,
getting green heads or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I'll call this one nasty breakup. Earl Jones is a man in Colorado. His wife recently filed for divorce, and let's just say he did not take it very well. Upon receiving the news, he cashed in $500,000, the entire life savings that the couple had. He bought gold with it and threw it all in a river. He said he would rather nobody have the money than for her to get any of it. They are now flat broke.
So some local scuba diver is going to get all the money.
$500,000 worth of gold.
I mean, gold sinks, right? It
yes.
Last time I checked, yes. Last time I threw my gold into a river, it sunk. Yes.
Yeah. Now we know why she got the divorce.
Yeah, because he's crazy.
Because he's crazy. Exactly. Well, where do we start? There's so much going on. You and I just saw. In fact, he is right now on MSNBC. Former director of the NSA, Michael Hayden. And yesterday, the current director, Keith Alexander, with the head of intelligence, James Clapper, testified on Capitol Hill about the whole NSA spying scandal. They seem to say everything is good, right? It's good to spy.
Yes, with the exception of DNI, Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, actually saying we sometimes make mistakes. Which was kind of stunning. Then going on to blame it mostly on human error, a little bit of bus throwing, I thought, which is great when you throw the subordinates under the bus. That's always nice for management to do, I think.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's great.
Well, it was also interesting. They asked them whether or not the White House knew what they were up to, because the White House has said President Obama didn't have a clue that they were tapping Angela Merkel's phone. I thought they sort of threw President Obama under the bus, too.
They kind of did throw
or
President...
at least seniors at the White House.
Seniors at the White House. And there seems to be a disconnect between seniors at the White House and President Obama. There seem to be a lot of seniors at the White House who know some things that other seniors... There seem to be a lot of closets in the White House that other closets don't know about. That's all I can say.
Right. Peter Baker, a friend of ours, again, from the briefing room in the New York Times this morning, has a front page story. Where the buck stops, some see a bystander. Because on several issues now, we have been told by Jay Carney at the briefing rooms, well, like the problems with the Health Exchange website. The president didn't know about there were any problems until
a couple of days afterwards.
Right. On the Angela Merkel cell phone, the president didn't know until last summer that we'd been spying on her for like 9 years or 7 years or something already by that time.
Right, but we were also told that he knew in 2002. Sorry, that he knew earlier than that.
Right. So this defense of I didn't know. The president didn't know about. The president didn't know about it.
He didn't know about the IRS. He didn't know about Fast and Furious. He didn't know about this. He didn't know about that. He didn't know. What does he know about?
I was just going to ask that question. Is this a good defense? And doesn't it, in fact, paint him as someone who's just, not clued in?
Well, then it's kind of odd because you got the impression, and I've always had the impression, very much in charge, and so then you think, well, is he being protected from stuff that's going on in his White House that perhaps shouldn't be going on in his White House? Or are we not being told exactly what is going on in his White House?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And both of those are not good.
No, I don't like the image that the White House seems to be projecting of a president who is aloof and not that he can know everything that's happening in this whole monstrous federal government at every time, right? But the stuff like this seems to me, particularly if we're tapping the cell phone of one of our best friends who happens to be the Chancellor of Germany, I want to know that the president ought to know. The president ought to know about that.
Well, when they're saying, there are decisions that are being made about some of the tapping that he doesn't need to know. I agree, but the single most powerful woman in the world, and it's not Hillary Clinton, it is Angela Merkel. Maybe shortly to be Janet Yellen, but right now it's Angela Merkel is the most powerful woman in the world. Yes, he needs to know, and he would want to know, because they want to know what she knows about things like Iran and negotiations with regard to Iran and sanctions and things like that. So of course he wants to know her thinking.
Yeah. Now here, as you know, this is not settled well. What's happening with Spain and Italy, Germany, hasn't settled well in the EU. One of your colleagues, Victoria, from the British Parliament, spoke on this yesterday. Peter, we have that.
I think that this issue of friend-on-friend spying is not something that we should automatically tolerate. We shouldn't just say spying has always existed, therefore it should always exist.
Friend-on-friend spying.
Friend-on-friend, yes. Friend-on-friend, yes.
Right.
Sounds so snuggly.
Well, everything sounds a little smug when you say it like that, right?
But it is a problem. Right? I mean, even Senator Feinstein now has come out and has always been a big supporter of NSA and said, no, we shouldn't be doing this anymore.
Well, and of course, Clapper and Alexander yesterday was saying, wait a second, what you are saying happened, what the press is saying happened is not what happened. We did not spy on the French and the Germans. These were just screenshots that you were shown in the press. In fact, the Europeans were involved in this spying, and the spying was done outside of Europe, and it was not done on European subjects. So they're saying this did not happen the way that it's been portrayed.
Do you have the impression, as I do, that the NSA is out of control?
I have the impression they're out of control and that they're not telling us the truth. But then why would they? They're spies.
Yeah, but I do think there have to be some parameters. But I'm not sure that this Congress has enough backbone to put the kind of restrictions or guidelines in place that are necessary on the Patriot Act and on the monitoring of our phone calls in this country or the monitoring of our emails in this country, let alone spying on friends overseas.
And there's this really interesting correlation that you see with the guys who are on the intelligence and the defense committees with the kinds of contributions that they get from the defense contractors. And it makes me wonder how much it influences their views once they get into these kinds of positions.
It influences. It determines maybe their votes, and that's the problem. That's a very important issue. Not enough people are talking about. It all gets back to the poisonous influence of money on the political system here in Washington and in this country. Victoria Jones with us from Talk Radio News. You can follow her on Twitter at Victoria Jones DC, right? Is that
yes.
it? Twitter handle. But she's here with us, so you don't have to go to Twitter. You can just give us a call at 866-55-PRESS on the topics we're talking about here on this Wednesday morning. We'll be right back.
Seen on Free Speech TV and online on TawkrTV. This is the Bill Press Show. This is the Bill Press Show.
Indeed, 26 minutes after the hour, Wednesday morning, October 30th, if you're just catching up. And this is the Bill Press Show, coming to you live from our nation's capital. She covers the White House for Talk Radio News, Victoria Jones, and she here, good friend in studio as a friend of Bill. I'm very excited, Victoria. After the half hour, we're going to be talking to Dr. Michael Miner down in Hernando, Mississippi.
Yes.
Who has stirred things up a little bit by he's a healthcare nut.
Yeah.
I don't want to use the word nut, but he's a healthcare. He's passionate.
He's
about
an enthusiast.
He's an enthusiast.
Thank you. That was neutral.
It's
Yes.
a better word,
yes.
right? And he has banned fried chicken at church dinners in his church. So we'll find out more about that. This is a big day for Americans and for Brits. At the Congress, they're unveiling a bust of Winston Churchill. Why should we Americans have a bust of Winston Churchill in our capital?
Because he came in 1941 and spoke and urged Americans to get involved in the war, and because he was a very, very important figure, and because why not?
Well, because how many statues of Americans do you have in the British Parliament?
Oh, wow.
What? Churchill is huge. Churchill
So's
is a
George
towering
Washington.
figure.
So's Abraham Lincoln.
Churchill
So's
is
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Who can speak
I'll tell you
like
what.
Churchill?
Well, I'll tell you what.
Who can speak like Churchill?
Barack Obama.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
going to say
please.
President
Barack Obama is a shadow.
Oh, wow. Shots
no,
fired.
wait a minute. I want to
Shots
say,
fired.
I will accept
Shots
Winston
fired.
Churchill in our capital if you put a bust of FDR, who also had a lot to do with saving your ass in World War II.
FDR came in when he was pushed.
Oh, no.
No, he didn't.
When he was pushed.
No, he led. He pushed the Americans
He
into
was
it.
pushed
You've
when
got to
he
admit,
was
he saved
pushed.
your butt. Let's have
When
a
he was
statue
pushed. When
a
he was
statue
pushed.
of
We
FDR.
stood there 39, 40,
This
41.
is the Bill Press Show.
Jay Farner.
FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, here we are at 33 minutes after the hour on Wednesday, October 30, coming to you live from our nation's capital. In studio with us as a friend to Bill this hour, Victoria Jones from Talk Radio News, brought to you today by the American Federation of Teachers, the good men and women of the AFT under President Randy Weingarten. Making a difference in America's classrooms every day. You bet. We salute our good teachers and thank them for their support. And we also want to salute a great big shout out to KCYL, a new affiliate of the Bill Press Show. That's 1450 AM down in Lampus, Texas, which is Lampus, Texas, I guess you can pronounce it. It's right outside of Austin. Anyhow, it's great to be in the home state of Ted Cruz, bringing a little truth and power to the people of Texas. Good to have you with us. And it's also good to say hello to a man of God, a man of faith, who has made a little news lately. Dr. Michael Miner is the pastor of Oak Hill Missionary Baptist Church down in Hernando, Mississippi. Made some news recently when he banned fried chicken at church potlucks. Pastor Miner, good to have you with us this morning.
Good morning, Bill. It's good to be here.
Good morning. I mean, banning fried chicken, isn't that un-American, Dr. Miner? Especially in Mississippi?
Everybody gives me a hard time about it. Really, it's all about symbols. You know, if we're really going to be the healthy church, what better way to say that we're going to be healthy than get rid of fried chicken? Come on, that's making a major statement, isn't it?
Well, it sure is making a major statement, especially in Mississippi. But what prompted you to do that, Dr. Miner?
Well, the thing is that when I came in as pastor in '96, we had a lot of people with special sizes. I was doing a funeral almost every week, and people were dying from preventable diseases. One of the big things was diet, obesity. So it took me some time to really work on getting us to do better. Once we built our new sanctuary, had a fellowship hall, I started getting the idea that we improve our fellowship meals. Mm-hmm. And that idea is that if we can eat better at church, it will give people the push to eat better at home. And that's how we got started with it. And banning fried chicken is just a symbol that we're serious about eating healthy.
This is Victoria Jones. What was the first reaction that you got from your parishioners when you made this announcement?
Oh, they weren't happy.
I'll bet.
That's clear. But the thing about it was, I recognized they're not paying for the meal. It's free. Mm. So I knew that they would gripe, but they would gripe while they're eating the food. And, of course, most people now buy their chicken from a restaurant or from the grocery store. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to be as good as what we cook at home. So we started doing grilled chicken and baked chicken. And because it's free and because it was home cooked, it was a good transition now. So now we don't have anybody complaining.
What results did you start to see?
Well, it was all part of our overall push of being healthier. We have people here who have lost weight and kept the weight off. We got people who got more energy. They're able to do more than they've done before. It's an attitude change, too. People are a lot more positive and everything. And it's not just 2 or 3 people. It's pretty much permeated the entire congregation.
You also, Dr. Miner, I read, put a fitness track or a walking track around the church perimeter. I mean,
yeah, I have people always ask me, where do we get funding from for that? And I told them, I said, look, well, I noticed that we have women walking around the church. We got a paid parking lot. We got lights. So we just had the deacons to measure off the distance around the church, put up a sign, and said 7.5 times a mile. And wow, presto, we got a walking track.
Oh, I see. I got it right. But does anybody use it as a walking track?
Oh, yes, our members. And then because the road that we're on is traveled heavily with motorcycles and cars, we're in the country, people drive pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
So we even have people from the neighborhood that come and walk around the church.
Oh, wow. Now, I want to know what from the pulpit, what connection do you make between keeping healthy, right, living healthy, eating healthy, and exercising, and saving your soul?
Well, look, as a Christian, I believe in everybody being whole. It's mind, body, and spirit. I don't separate the three. So I know what churches are known, houses of worship are known for being spiritually focused, but Jesus in his work, he did a lot of healing. So we got to really look at people physically and how they can be whole there. And of course, I'm probably one of the few pastors that are going to push the piece about being whole mentally. So our work and what we're doing is a holistic ministry focused on a total person. Besides, a sick person can't come to church, they can't give. Come on, that's a problem.
Yeah. It gives a whole new meaning to the phrase WWJD, doesn't it? Right? Right?
That's right.
True.
What would Jesus do? He'd be out on that walking track.
That's right.
Where would Jesus dine?
That's right. Where would Jesus die? That's right. Now, but you've gone beyond this, though. You are helping people or working to get people to sign up for health care. What are you doing for that?
Well, again, it's a continuation of our ministry because you have people that don't have health insurance, they're worried about not having it, or they get sick, and they don't have any a safety net. So we, along with our state convention, National Baptist State Convention, we have a network. We had a network of about 200 churches of direct and participants and other affiliates, and we just started working through that to get people excited and then get people to enroll for the Affordable Care Act. Again, a continuation of making folks whole.
Yeah, so it's a phrase, navigator, I think is the phrase, right? That you're identified as a navigator, and then you help people know what the plans are and encourage them to sign up.
Right. It's really two parts. It's outreach and education, so we get out there and tell people about it. And then the second part is enrollment. So we ask that people need assistance. We go with them online and help them walk through the healthcare.gov, or if necessary, we get on the phone, take them and work with them on the phone, whatever the case may be, to get them signed up.
And how much are you finding that people do know about the law?
They know that generally when they call us or they show up at our church door, they email us, they have some recognition. Typically, the question is, how do I sign up? We haven't had as much about, what is the Affordable Care Act? I think the media has done a good job, for better or for worse, of getting that information out there. And you got to recognize in Mississippi, there are tons of people who are uninsured or underinsured.
Yeah.
And this fills a big need. I know our government didn't expand the Medicaid, but we have people across the cultures, Hispanic, black, white, who are coming in and are interested in it. So it's not a political thing, it's an insurance thing.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the people that you're helping are people who, I guess I should make this a question. These are, for the most part, people who have never had health insurance before, never been able to afford it, correct?
Well, no, it's actually been a mix. It's been a mix of those. Actually about three categories. Yes, those who can afford it. There's others, like we had a member whose husband had insurance, but the job didn't offer it beyond the spouse. And then we got an emerging group of people like 60 to 64 who are either getting ready to retire or contemplating retirement, and the cost of their insurance is sky high. So they're coming to us until they get on Medicare.
Right. So that serves. Now, I want to ask you, Dr. Miner, again, we're talking to Dr. Michael Miner, who's pastor of Oak Hill Missionary Baptist Church down in Hernando, Mississippi. Do you have a website for the church, Dr. Miner?
Yes, we have a website for the church. It's oakhillmbc.org. Oak Hill MBC, Missionary Baptist Church, MBC.
Okay, oakhillmbc.org. There you go. We'll put a link up on our website. People can find out more about the good work you're doing down there. What kind of reaction are you getting from other pastors in the area? Are you still like a lonely only with this healthcare kick, or do other pastors are joining in?
All the pastors are joining in now. They're starting to see it. I've been working on this since 1998. I had a partner of mine, Pastor Bernard Montgomery. They call us the Health Nuts, everybody thought we were crazy and all this type of thing. But if you stay with something long enough, folks will realize, well, maybe they're not crazy now, they're owning something. So now we actually have pastors contacting us, wanting to help them get the health ministries going. But it was a while being in the wilderness before things really got going.
I bet. Now, that's exciting, though, that it's catching on, that you're starting to get a network. I mean, that can really make a difference. That could catch fire across the country now.
Well, actually, it has, because our national denomination has picked it up. We've been working with National Baptist Convention, USA Incorporated, to train our churches, get trained people in our churches through our Health Ambassador Initiative. And also, I've been on a national speaking tour the last 2 years for non-national Baptist churches, helping them do the same. So we've been pleased with how it's been going.
That is so exciting. Well, I congratulate you, Dr. Miner. I really do. Proud of you. And I'll tell you, if you're ever in the Washington, D.C. area, let us know. Stop by and come in the studio. We'd love to see you. Yeah.
All right, no problem. We'll take you up on that one.
All right.
We'll have some grilled chicken breast or something.
Grilled or baked.
We'll go light.
No fried chicken.
We'll go light.
That's the rule. That's the rule, indeed.
All right.
Are you doing great work? You're doing the Lord's work, Dr. Meyer. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right. Have a great day.
All right. Oh, what a great guy, Dr. Michael Miner.
Made
down
me
there.
hungry, though.
Oh, yeah. But I can see this. The trend here is, from now on in the churches, they're going to have treadmills instead of pews. Right? So they're listening to the sermon on the treadmill. Everybody's running. Did you see that? All right. Victoria Jones with us. We'll be back. Your call. How about that? No fried
That's
chicken.
fantastic.
All right. 866-55-PRESS.
This is the Bill Press Show. Seen on Free Speech TV and online on TawkrTV. This is the Bill Press Show.
All right, at 12 minutes before the top of the hour, it is the Bill Press Show. Victoria Jones is here in studio with us.
Where are you going over there?
What?
Jump on your mic.
I'm sorry. This is my microphone. I thought it always went with me. You know.
Sorry.
Are we live?
We're on the air, buddy.
Oh, is that right?
It's radio.
I was saying
It's
Victoria
only
Jones is here with us from Talk Radio News, and we've been fascinated because Forbes magazine is out this morning with the list of the 72 most powerful people on the planet.
So exciting.
And
don't tell me, don't spoil. Oh, my goodness me.
Wait. Yes, I know. I am getting there. Don't,
I won't spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it.
Don't bury the lead. I just want to give you the top 7. All right, starting at number 7, Ben Bernanke. He should be up there.
He should be up there. Soon to be Janet Yellen.
Bill Gates is number 6.
Yes.
Right? And he does a lot of good stuff
Yes,
and
he
throws
does.
a lot of money
Yes.
around for very good causes.
Yes.
Angela Merkel is number 5. Yes, the most powerful woman on the planet, certainly.
Yes.
And she is a power. It was just another reason why we should not have been tapping her phone.
Should.
So we agree so far, right?
Yeah.
Number 4, Pope Francis. Yeah. Right. He's made a difference. He really has. And he is shaking things up.
He's rocked that boat, man.
Oh, I know. And some of the cardinals and American Catholic bishops are not happy with it, which makes me very happy.
Aren't you surprised that some little substance hasn't found its way into... Do they still have tasters in the Vatican?
I'll tell you one thing. He better have one. He had better have one. Yeah, indeed.
Because I watched the Borgias, you know.
Yes.
Peter watched the Borgias too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Number 3 is President Xi, whatever, how you pronounce it, of China.
Right.
Number 3, most powerful. Number 2, only, Barack Obama.
I was waiting to hear where that was, man.
Number 2, Barack Obama, number 2. I mean...
But
at least we're over China. We're better than
That's a good point.
According to Forbes, yes.
Okay.
And are you ready for number 1?
Please don't be Ted Cruz. Please don't be Ted Cruz.
Vladimir Putin.
Whoa. Oh, no.
Whoa.
The Russians.
That's kind of terrifying.
Russians.
The number 1 most powerful person on the planet. I don't really get that. I mean,
did they bug?
Militarily, no.
No.
Right? Economically, no.
Are they
politically?
Although to be fair, if you if he doesn't like you, he can kill you and get away with it, which is something that Obama can't really do.
He can, and in
poisoned
terms of
umbrellas and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of like physical strength, maybe. I mean,
he wrestles bears.
That's true.
But Barack Obama's still no weenie, right?
He's no slouch.
Are we actually talking about physical power now?
Well, I think
that's the tiebreaker.
I'm trying to figure out why would it be Vladimir Putin?
I don't know. You need to get that Forbes guy on your show.
I like that idea.
Or Pootie.
Get Forbes or Putin on your show.
I just don't think
preferably
Putin.
But maybe if you think about if in terms of influence, like why don't we have a deal with? Why haven't we able to resolve the situation in Syria? Right, because of Putin. Why is and why is Assad still getting away with murdering his citizens? Because of Putin. And probably you can go around the world and say, why hasn't this been resolved? This hasn't resolved because of Putin. And so maybe that's why.
That is a good point. I mean, if you look at all the stuff that he's able to get away with that other countries can't get away with.
Or that he's able to block.
That he's able to,
Right.
Then
okay.
sure.
It's interesting.
Final question, just about a minute left. Without getting into all the detail about the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, and the problems that they got now, is this going to resolve itself so that, do you believe Obamacare survives, or are Republicans going to succeed somehow in killing it?
I think it depends on whether the website's fixed in time.
Really?
Time for the young people not to get so ticked off that they go away. If it gets fixed in time, the young people will sign up. If young people don't sign up,
that will make the whole program
they're
work.
They've got a huge problem. Yeah. If young people sign up, they're going to be okay.
Now, you would know this a lot more about this than I, but my feeling is if we had only gone single payer the way the British did a long time ago, we would have been better off.
I totally agree.
Really? Yeah.
Totally agree.
So you know the system, you know it works.
I know the system. I know it works. I know it's got drawbacks. I was just over there with my family. I saw some of the drawbacks listening to them talk about it.
Yeah.
Like with your doctor and things like that. But then I saw the advantages too. And the advantages outweigh the disadvantages.
We'll get to single payer someday. All right. Victoria Jones, great to see you at the briefing every day, and so much better to see you here in studio with us for a whole hour. Thank you so much for being here as a friend of Bill. All right, and I'll be back with a parting shot for the day.
This is the Bill Press Show. The Parting Shot with Bill Press. This is the Bill Press Show.
And my parting shot for today, in Virginia, Terry McAuliffe's been ahead since the beginning of the governor's race, but still, it was somewhat of a shock yesterday to see that he's actually ahead now over Ken Cuccinelli by 12 points, 51-39. Some Republicans are already trying to dismiss what's happening in Virginia as a fluke, but they're wrong. This governor's contest has serious ramifications for the Tea Party and for the Republican Party nationwide. I mean, think about it. Nobody carries a banner of the Tea Party prouder or higher than Ken Cuccinelli. He's even the author of the Personhood Amendment in Virginia. But Virginia voters have seen the Tea Party now in Ken Cuccinelli up close. They don't like what they see. And Cuccinelli himself has called this race a referendum on Obamacare. He even invited Ted Cruz in to campaign for him. Again, voters have seen the agenda of the Republican Party in Ken Cuccinelli, and they don't like it. With his extreme right-wing politics, it looks like Ken Cuccinelli will not only lose Virginia, he'll succeed in turning a purple state blue. Republicans nationwide had better take notice. Eleanor Spiel joins us in studio tomorrow, along with Reverend Barry Lynn. Have a great Wednesday, folks. See you back here again in the morning.
This is the Bill Press Show.